Here. Okay. This is a banjo I made up out of pieces and parts. The pot is a Stewart McDonald Maple pot. It's kind of thick. It looks like it's almost 3/4 of an inch thick. It's got good brass hardware on it. It has a Vega style Whyte Ladie tone ring. Now Whyte Ladie is spelled W-H-Y-T-E-L-A-D-I-E. It's a type of tone ring that was developed probably originally by Fairbanks and Cole. When the Fairbanks factory burned down back in the 20s, Vega bought what was left and started making banjos. Down through the years, the Vega name has been sold to other banjo companies. There's a lot of banjo companies out there right now using this type of tone ring. It's pretty common. It's pretty common one of the old style rings to be used. And it's a pretty good pot. It's got all, I say it's got all brass hardware. I was just looking. Yeah, that's just tarnish. I was just looking at these bolts, but they are all brass hardware. This neck is a Weymann. It was originally a Weymann plectrum 4-string. Now they make a tenor banjo that's about this long, and then they make a plectrum which is about this long, and then the normal 5 strings are about this long, and they're usually 26-inch long, and this one is shorter than that. I like a shorter neck, so I put this 5th string peg onto this one because I wanted a neck of that length. I also put these nylon strings on here. Now nylon strings don't sound as good to me as metal strings, but I was just thinking I want to see what it sounded like. I put them on here years ago. I hadn't changed them. I've gotten tired of the way they sound. I've decided today I'm going to change them out with some steel strings. These are the Dario made in USA strings. These are JS57. One set of 5 strings. These are called medium gauge. They're an 11 thousandths for the 5th string and the 1st string, 12 thousandths for the 2nd string, 13 thousandths for the 3rd string, and 22 thousandths for the 4th string. And they're going on here, and I think I'm just going to do like one at a time. So I'll probably start with the 1st string. Just take the old ones off. I might save these old ones. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to save strings because you might have put on something else later on. I'm not somebody who changes strings often. Just because I know a lot of people just change strings all the time. I don't understand why. But I don't really like to have new fresh strings on a banjo. I'd rather have old strings that's already been taught a few songs than new strings that haven't. That's just my own weird way. So what I'll do is I'll take these old strings and I'll curl them up and I'll stick them back in this little plastic package here and just hang on to them for future use or something. You never know when you might need a piece of nylon string for something. These are about the same width as fishing line. I mean, they make a lot of different fishing lines, nylon fishing lines that are probably made out of the same stuff exactly. You could probably get a few rolls of fishing line and string your banjo with it and save yourself a lot of money on strings if you wanted to play nylon strings. All you have to do pretty much is find the right size. So I mentioned that the 11 thousandth string goes on both the 1st and the 5th. I have one right here. These are loop end strings. So basically this is going to slide over a little peg down here on the tailpiece, and the other end's going to go through that thing up there. A person who did things the way they're supposed to be done would take all the strings off and clean the banjo. I'm not that person. I'm just somebody who does things the way I do things. A lot of people don't like me for that reason, and you know what? Don't bother me at all. Not one little bit. Nope, don't. 'Cause I'm that kind of guy. I ain't bothered. I ain't necessarily always bothered by people's opinions, even if they're good ones. And don't get yourself poked in the eyeball by a banjo string when you're doing this sort of thing, because it could. So just be aware. You got some strings, some pretty fine, sharp little strings popping around here like this, and you don't want to get one of them in the eyeball. That would hurt a little bit. It would hurt a goodly bit. Hear how crisp that is compared to that's a second string, but that's a good crisp sound. And then we'll go with the second string. I got an email message today from a fellow named Josh Rondo. Josh used to be, he used to have his own YouTube channel, and he used to also, well, he learned how to play banjo. I think I might have taught him how to play the banjo from back in the day, and we bought and sold and swapped some banjos between the two of us down through the years. He went on to become a firefighter. He had retired from the Navy when I met him. He went on to become a firefighter down in Boston, became a weightlifter. He was telling me in his email this morning, I ain't talked to him in years, that he had lifted something like 800 pounds. Just sounded ridiculous. And he's invented some weightlifting, various exercise things. I think he might run a gym also, and I think he wrote a book, Joshr Rondo, Rondeau, I think. You might find his book out there. But anyway, he's a good egg. I like him a lot. We, ever so often, we get in touch with each other and talk on the phone for hours and hours at a time, and then I don't hear from him for years, but that's okay. I still like him good. And anyway, he was saying that he wants a banjo. I had sold him a cup-a-phone banjo that George Lowander built the neck for years ago, and he played it a while and then offered it back to me, and I didn't want it. I was intimidated by that banjo because it was too valuable. And I know that might sound weird, but when I got a banjo that's as valuable as that one was, it makes me nervous to leave it at home when I'm not there. I was afraid that somebody will steal it or something. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just intimidated by that expensive of a banjo. So anyway, I didn't buy it back, and he did sell it to somebody else. And then he was asking me if I had another one or if I would build him one. And I told him about how I'm really not building banjos much anymore, and about how we're living down here in Georgia. By the way, it's almost 80 degrees out here, and it's February. It's fine. I don't know what my camera just did, but I restarted it. Take off the third string. I probably will clean this up later, but I'll wind up running paper towels with some guitar oil, gun oil or something up underneath there to do it. Toddy Bob's coming in a few days. It's just Honey Babe's son. He's bringing up that 350 Chevy engine he was building for me to put in a Rambler. I think the day after tomorrow he's going to be up here. That's going to be pretty fun. Alright, what do we got here? This is a 13 thousandths. Honey Babe. The fourth string is going to be 22 thousandths. That ain't the right one I just pulled out. I just pulled out the fifth string. I looked at the fourth string and then I pulled out the fifth string. This one goes back in here. I knew that didn't look right because this fourth string is usually a bronze wound. This one might be a stainless wound. But it's a wound string, not just a wire string. So, wound meaning exactly what it sounds like. There's a wire in the middle with a wire wrapped around it like a guitar string. Guitar strings are wound, generally. Now take off fifth string. Oh, the joy. By the way, a lot of people get freaked out when the fifth string peg isn't real tight. They are not glued in. They will literally come out just like this. And there's nothing wrong with them if they do. Just stick them back in there and push them in good and snug, or sometimes you might want to take and tap them in gently with the pad end of a screwdriver, but don't glue them in. Cut some strings here. I like to bend my strings over and crimp them before I cut them, because sometimes they'll stick out and they'll poke you, especially this fifth string. Generally, I pull mine over and put a little crimp in them, and then I try to cut them where they won't grab you. Now, I used to cut these with a pair of fingernail clippers. Well, it's a good way to ruin a set of fingernail clippers is to be cutting wire with them. So, kind of got away from that, but they don't really cut that easily, even with a Leatherman. So, it's probably a nice tool somebody makes to do that with. But, it ain't worth the trouble to go and find it, or make one, or locate one, or buy one, or whatever you have to get one. I might save these little end pieces too, because you know, you never know when you might be working on a project, you need a fine piece of wire. And I'll give you a good example. If you're ever done a carburetor rebuild, a lot of times there's going to be a hole somewhere that you're going to have to poke out with a piece of wire. And a piece of baling wire is too fat, a piece of clothes hanger wire is too fat, but a piece of this type of banjo wire would be just about right for some of them carburetor holes. So I save this for stuff like that. I try to always keep in mind that there might be something, there might be things that I could use somewhere else if I don't throw them away. That's why I got one of everything in the world. Actually, I got two of everything in the world now, because where we live, both here and up in Maine, and I've got one of everything up there, and then I got one more of everything down here, or at least I'm working on that. I will have before I die, I think. Oh, the joy. Oops. I mean to grab that. Up, that one cut clean. Probably because it was fatter. Generally, it takes banjo strings a while to settle in and start to sound good. This fifth string's a little low on this one, but I think I can learn to play it. The other thing I could do is tighten his head a little bit. That would probably not hurt it, although it doesn't look too loose. Pretty good old banjo, really. Sometimes you can fine tune a banjo by pulling a harmonic at the 12th fret and then fretting it at the 12th fret and then seeing if it sounds the same. That's what I'm doing now. And then you can move the fret forward and backwards. Forward raises it and backwards lowers the string sound when it's fretted. I could lower this bridge slightly. I wonder if I've got any more bridges down here. I know I got about a gazillion of them at home, but I don't know if I brought any banjo pieces and parts down here. And if I did, I don't know where they'd be at. Might be in a banjo case in there hiding under the bed. But the string height here is a little more than it needs to be, and this could come down a little. And that'd make it a little easier to play. It ain't hard to play now, though. I could always sand this bridge down, but then you can't sand it back up once you sand it down, so if you take too much off, you can't really put it back. Not so much. to learn that song once. Yeah, so you can tell the difference when you got steel strings on there, because they'll give you little blisters on the end of your fingers, but that's okay. You need to toughen up them fingers if you're going to play much. Boy, it's a dirty banjo. I might give it a wipe down with some bear grease later on, though, or something. Oh, joy. So I'm going to take these old strings, just kind of tie them up in a bundle, and slip them in with those other old strings. We'll save those. Then I just take these ones and I just wrap them up, put them back through themselves. That'd keep pretty good. And we'll just stick that right in here with the rest of these. That looks like a work of art, but it's not. Unless you're one of the modern art people that thinks everything is a work of art. Yeah, so next time I get a chance out here, I'll bring some cleaning things out and clean this up. Kitchen with Dinah, sitting in the kitchen I know. Sitting in the kitchen with Dinah, strumming on the old banjo. Fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O. Fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, strumming on the old banjo. Hear the whistle blowing, rise up so early in
I'm just looking at something here. I'm going to show it to you because I might not believe it if I didn't. February in Georgia, February 10th. It says 100 degrees. It says 80. Oh, 86 degrees. Now that ain't right. Honey Baby tells me because that's because the sunlight's shining in the back of it. Honey Baby says it can't be 85 degrees even if the thermometer says it is. She says that's fake news. So anyway, love y'all. Thanks for hanging with me. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.